Hello there, and welcome to a very special live stream today. I am joined by Golgo13's Anime 101, Felix Kiros, and John Black Dragon, and today we are scratching off another movie from my never seen list, Iron Eagle. Now, full disclosure, I was not planning on getting to this movie so quickly, but Echo Base Network Saturday night was having this as a watch party thing that they were doing on Discord, and Black Dragon DM'd me saying, "Hey, I know this is on your list. You need to watch this." And so I showed up, and I am definitely glad that I did. So, first question for you guys off the bat. And
I'm gonna pop out for a second. I'm having some difficulty here, so I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, go ahead. Quick shout out to Leia Rose for showing up. But my first question to both of you is just if you could just what's like your overall thoughts on this movie as a whole?
You go first, Felix. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I need to pull together images from the mind. So you go first, man.
Yeah, no problem. Well, this movie is for me is very fun, and it was very exciting because I love military aircraft. Actually, working on the engines on them. So for me, this movie when I was growing up, when I was deciding what I wanted to study and stuff, this was kind of like with this movie. I would say Top Gun, were my top. This movie is if you like F-16s, this is the movie.
Yeah.
It's showing all their capabilities in terms of this movie. I look at the capabilities of the aircraft, and I think the demos that the Israeli Air Force was doing in the sequences are awesome. I don't know if you think the same, Paul,
Yes,
but
they are.
some of the stuff that is over there is really difficult to do. They're pulling G's and all that stuff like it's like no business. And the guys who were flying in those sequences, I think they had to them because it's not an easy thing. They need to go through a lot of conditioning, G force, training, all that. So it looks cool, and it's really amazing that they actually did practical, sequences instead of obviously it was the '80s, so there was no a lot of CGI. There was no CGI in that time, but it's amazing. It's the perfect movie for somebody likes aircraft. And let's go back to the story of the '80s. The kids, that's just '80s, pure '80s. The way they talk, the way they the lines. I was just laughing every time especially there was one part that when he goes back after the crash in the movie after the competition, and he say you could have
Yeah.
killed me, and the guy say I cannot hear you, and then he punched him. Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, that
Very
was a great
very
line.
that's very '80s, man, and it's a celebration of the '80s, a celebration of the military aircraft. I'm really like that movie. It brings me back to my childhood. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Black Dragon, general thoughts about this movie for you?
It was a fun movie. I mean, it's regardless of whether you're into military aircraft, which a lot of people are. It was just in and of itself a fun movie. It was a basic journey of this kid trying to get into the Air Force and follow in his father's footsteps. And they had a fantastic cast. I mean,
Yeah.
Louis
Oh,
Gossett Jr. and Tim Thomerson are great actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely were. So I guess general thoughts for me on this, I agree with that sentiment. This was a very fun movie, you could tell that this was an 80s movie in all the best ways. And yeah, that's literally the best way I could say this. This was just a very fun, very enjoyable, just sit back and enjoy it movie.
Yeah.
So
You know how you can tell that it is? I just took a quick peek at just a quick search on the movie. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 20%, so therefore it's gold.
Oh, you got
believe
that right.
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah,
guys,
And I'll bet you the fan, if it's still up, I'll bet you the fan reviews are above 90%.
by the way, guys, we got a VIP in the chat here. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that this is Coach, and he asks, "Just got here. Did you watch again?" No, I didn't. But then again, at least watching it in the Discord was not nearly as bad as watching the Last Starfighter on Zoom. That was a slideshow for me, so I did have to go back and watch it. But watching so this is actually Nick. Okay, my bad. But no,
Hey,
I did
Nick.
not go back.
Nick is a fan. He's a big fan of this movie.
Yes.
And I can understand why. Let me give you just a little thought process here.
Mm-hmm.
Kid from the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember this movie more than I do Top Gun. I had this movie recorded, if I remember correctly, from a free preview from one of the premium channels from back in the day. So I watched this and the second one, frontwards, backwards, inside out, upside down. Shook it like a rag doll, and everything I remember about this movie is, it's a lot of fun. It is a hero's journey type movie. It's a son rescuing his father and learning how to fly. Even to this day, one of the most complicated and one of the most deadly aircrafts ever invented.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that, by the way, is some very nice photos, Felix.
Yeah.
This is an F-16, and one thing about it, the F-16, the engine that goes there is the F-100. Guess what? Guess who has two of these engines?
You do.
No. Like which aircraft? Like this is the
Probably
F-16.
an F-22.
No. The one I would say the F-16, the F-15.
The F-15 Strike Eagle.
So, the Strike Eagle. This one has two engines of this, but this one maneuvers better than him. This one here goes real fast. He has the record for high altitude. The Raptor has a new engine. That's the F-119. So it's I'm very into this stuff. I love the aircraft. It's pretty nice.
Like my friend Ian, the headless guitarist, I definitely need to get him to see this movie because he's really super into aircraft also. In fact, he wants to join the Air Force to become a fighter pilot. So if he has not seen this movie, I'm going to make him see this movie.
Yeah, it is a fun movie, and it definitely is, gung-ho 80s, military, rah-rah, sis-boom-bah.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything 80s era Reagan, all wrapped up into one movie. It's a funny thing, though. You got movies that had the F-16, then the F-14 Tomcat, but no movie with the F-15 Strike Eagle. I don't recall any movie ever having that as an airplane. Now I know that there was a movie that had Clint Eastwood that had a Russian jet or a Russian prototype type of jet.
Yes, Firefox.
Firefox, one of the various MiG styled planes. But I don't recall there ever being one for the Strike Eagle.
Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah,
those F-16s, they can do some wicked maneuvering, and there's photos out there of how heavily armed, how much of an armament complement they can throw onto them. Either full missile package, or even an extra tank to get you a little further distance. But yeah, that's not a plane to this day that I would want to have to deal with.
I believe it.
It's very, very flexible. It's just, the maneuverabilities, the power, it's like the power maneuverability ratio of the aircraft is awesome.
It probably also cost a lot less than the 15s, most definitely less than the 14s.
Yeah.
Although,
so
I have no idea how they would cost up against
go ahead.
the F-18 Hornet. How much of a difference there is between them, but one's Navy, one's Air Force. So yeah, who knows?
Right. So my next question, and this is specifically for Black Dragon, because I think you and I are going to have some very similar thoughts on this one.
Probably.
But being a service member yourself, what were your thoughts on this movie as far as how they portrayed the military?
Oh, what you saw in that movie definitely would not happen.
Absolutely not.
There's no way. I mean, I don't. The kid at the at the gate when he was trying to get him in, and well, my sister said, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I don't care if we're best friends. If you don't have the security clearance, you ain't getting in.
100%. Because, as I mentioned when in the Discord when we were watching that, the gate guard doing that character, that was my job in the military, and yeah, that if I pulled that when I was on gate duty, that would have been the end of my Navy career right there on the spot. So
You'd be in Leavenworth.
Yep.
Or at the very least discharged after sacrificing half a month's pay and serving 30 days restriction to the base. But yeah.
If not in a small brig.
Oh, for sure.
With a reduction in rank.
Yeah. Which by the time that I got out, I was an E4. That would have bumped me back to E3. But anyways,
yeah, see, I was E4 when I got off active duty, and then I made E5 in the reserves.
Right. So, but yeah, military inaccuracies aside,
if you go
everything
into
else
it,
about this movie.
well, see, that's going to be the problem. If you go into it looking for military accuracies, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go into it looking as a fun movie, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Like-
say, weren't most of the movies from that era very military, not very accurate as far as how things would play out?
Yeah, for the most
Yeah.
part. They were made to be fun.
And remember
Right.
that was the Cold War era too. There was a lot of sentiment. Like that movie was kind of like like Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Top Gun. Those movies were very patriotic. Military. Show what we got. Kind of movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this movie definitely pulled it off well. Although ironically, not a single U.S. plane was used in this movie, because I can't remember if it was you, Felix, or you, John, that said this, but apparently
It was Felix.
Me and also Nick. He said it too. Yep.
The fact that the U.S. Air Force was not on board with this movie at all, because it was going to show Air Force planes getting hijacked to go on a rogue mission of revenge. So all the planes that we see in here are from the Israeli army. And according to what you guys said, those Israeli pilots, as what we've seen in this movie, they are no joke.
They're no joke. They're all constantly guarding the border, as right now. They're now guarding that border 24/7, flying off multiple hours. It's like that's what they do.
Yeah. And
amazing.
Yeah, and Leia Rose says that it is a dangerous mission for sure. So, the characters in this movie, obviously you had the main kid. His name was Doug Masters, played by Jason Gedrich, I want to say, and he pretty much was the stereotypical 80s young adult teenager that wants to prove his mettle, but it's the stereotype in all the best ways. He's basically the Karate Kid of this movie, except in this case he's a pilot that wants to be more than what he is. He wants to be part of the Air Force Academy, but he got declined, and then he hears that his father is captured overseas and is expected to be killed. So he decides, you know what, I'm going to fly over there and get him back. I just need some help. And by the end of it, you see him transform from this, pulling this up here, those are the very same planes that they used in the movie, aren't they?
Pretty close. If I remember correctly, one of them, they did have a trainer model that had the two seats, but I believe these ones are closer to them. I can't think of how many different variations there have been of them over time, but yeah, that looks about right, about the right type of loadout. Deadly, very, very deadly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The trainer model is really rare, so what you saw there is very rare to see. So that movie got one of those.
Right. And by the way, Nick said, I reached out to Jason Gedrick to try and get him on the channel. Well, if he is on the channel, I will definitely be there for that stream.
Yeah.
And say, what else has he done over the years? I have no clue.
Let me look. Let's see. He was in the sequel to Iron Eagle, which I didn't even know that there was a sequel to it.
He was in Backdraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Rooftops, Crossing the Bridge, Sweet Justice, Class of '96, Born on the 4th of July.
Wow.
None of these movies I've even heard of.
What?
Born on the 4th of July is a trilogy. It starts with Platoon.
Let's see. The most recent thing that he did was he was in one episode of 2019's Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Lethal Weapon. Oh, that's good. That makes me laugh.
And by the way, hello to Green Lantern. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, Jason Gedrick did a great job with his role, and it's weird saying this, but the character that he played, Doug Masters, he was cocky, but in a good way. Like, he was
a typical teenager.
Yeah.
Of that time period.
Yeah, actually, I think cocky is the wrong word. He was confident in his piloting skills because he could back up what he was saying, as proved both in the race and in the big dogfight at the end of the movie.
Yes, but he also had that attitude of nothing was his fault. You know, it was a good character, but one thing that irritated the snot out of me was there at the when they were meeting up with his girlfriend. And they got the letter came in, and he's reading it, and his buddy says, you know, well, you kind of had to sort of expect this, you know, because you skipped all those classes, or you know, because your grades aren't that good. And he turns around and goes, well, my grades wouldn't have been bad if I didn't have to skip that class to go to the trainer. You didn't have to skip the class. You chose to skip the class. But he doesn't look at it in those terms, which is a typical teenager.
Yeah. And just as a quick side note, hello to Pacific 414, which, by the way, myself, Golgo13, and our fellow Tuesday Night Trek brethren, Spock and Nerdporeal Lifeform, will be on his channel Wednesday night to talk about the 55th anniversary of Star Trek, so tune in for that. But anyways, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, Black Dragon. He's the typical 80s teenager in all the best ways that you could portray that in a movie. And seeing how he goes from that in the beginning to
growing up in the most abrupt and shocking way at the end of the movie, and seeing everything. I would say that, like, the definitive moment that he realized that this really is no game is when he thought that Chappie Sinclair had died. Yep.
When he got shot down. And then just adding on to that further.
He did fantastic with the look on his face. You know, it was, you see the scared look on his face, and then all of a sudden he just went calm. Like everything hit him all at once.
Yep.
And the actor did a fantastic job with his facial expressions.
Yes, he did. And that's just compounded on further when he sees his dad get shot in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, hello to Mike Blair. Thanks for joining. I don't believe I've seen you around here before, so welcome. So, Brandon, Felix, anything you guys have to say about the main character, Doug Masters?
Well, it's it's the hero's journey with him,
Oh yeah.
Trying to, I make a lot of analogies with Star Wars with this. It's just like I was counting. Oh, this is just like Star Wars, So many of them, so many in that movie. If you pay attention, it's just a carbon copy. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up on a few of those, especially when you were pointing them out when we were watching them in Discord. Like how the bad guy eventually decides, okay, no more sending my own guys after this guy. It's not doing anything. I'm going to try and take him on myself. Like Darth Vader did in the trench run.
with the two pilots, like it's just the same thing, like
Yes.
yeah.
Brandon, anything to add?
Pretty straightforward on the character design. And
Yep.
of course, my pets are running all around here trying to make a mess. Get out of here! Get out! No, of course they don't listen to me. Why would they listen to me? It's not like I, buy them food or give them water or take them outside or take care of their
Right.
box or anything like that. You cat. Oh, pets are
Yeah.
fun, but man, they can be they can be little pills.
All right, so next character I want to talk about is the villain, because boy did they get this guy right. Real quick, Echo Base Network says the movie does a good job faking deaths. That is very true, but it didn't fake the villain's death. He really did die, and yeah, the guy that they got to play him. Let me see if I can look up who that is, but yeah, he did an amazing job.
Man,
of
he
that.
was sinister. He was evil. He was like, he had no mercy. He was like,
Yeah, he was scary.
yeah.
He was scary in a very human way. His name, by the way, was David Suchet. Let's see what else he's done. Where is it? Let's see. He's done yeah, more movies like this that I've never heard of. He did a version of Pinocchio. He did something called Space Odyssey: Voyage to the Planets. He did To Kill a Priest. Harry and the Hendersons, I've heard of that one. But yeah, a whole bunch of other stuff.
And
But
so
yeah,
that's going back into the Wayback Machine there with Harry and the Hendersons. Holy cow.
Right. And yes, I'm going to have to add that one to the list too, unfortunately. That list is getting bigger.
You have Space Cam there, right? You need to see Space Cam. If you like this movie, you're gonna like Space Cam because there's one of the
I'll add
actors
that
is there.
one too. I'll add that one too. This list is becoming too big of a monster. But anyways,
Well, it's going to.
But at least I don't have to put a helmet on. Speaking of helmet, do you have Spaceballs on the list? Please tell me you've seen it.
I have seen it.
Okay,
I have seen it.
Oh, okay. We're okay.
Okay, Coach is here for real this time.
Hey-o.
What's up?
Oh, that's
yeah,
Coach? Okay.
Yeah, that's Coach.
that
that's his
really is
signature
Coach.
saying.
Yeah, Coach. I thought you were on here earlier on the Echo Base Network account, but turns out this was Nick. So it's good to know that you're here for real. But anyways, the main star though of this movie, Iron Eagle, was Louis Gossett Jr. and his character. Hands down, best character
guy.
in this movie. And funny enough, this was not the first time I had seen this actor, because there was one time when I was overseas and I was just hanging out in a friend's barracks room, and he happened to have on the movie An Officer and a Gentleman. And he was in that movie too as the Marine Corps drill sergeant. I think he was a gunny in that movie.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding when I say this. He is my second favorite drill sergeant character in any movie behind Gunnery Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
He
Full Metal
played
Jacket.
that so well. And he played this role just as good. You know, the idea of a reservist colonel in the Air Force that is a pilot, and he's not 100% on board with Doug Masters' plan, but he's willing to help him out, help him become the man he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the best scene, I'm not kidding, the best scene is when he pulls out that scrapbook of his dead comrades, and he has that monologue where Doug's like, well, what's so important about these guys? How am I different from them? And he's like, because they're dead.
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
And by the way,
Man.
Nick, check your Twitter DMs, and that's where the StreamYard link will be. You too, Coach, if you're interested.
If I remember, Louis Gossett Jr. won an Oscar for Officer and a Gentleman.
I think
He did,
so.
yes.
So having an Oscar winner in your movie always adds a little extra credence to it. But yeah, Louis Gossett, for that time frame, Yeah, he was hot and he was awesome.
Louis
Yeah,
Gossett Jr. and Morgan Freeman, two of the best.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
very true.
Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. And that he carried that movie. I'm telling you,
Yes, he did.
This movie without him is not the same movie. No way, because
It's nowhere close.
It's nowhere close. It's just like his presence, how he talked, how he was the mentor. You know, he is the Obi-Wan of Iron Eagle,
Or the Miyagi.
or the Miyagi. Yes, or the Miyagi. It's like, and I love the part when you think he's dead, and suddenly the Doc Masters is talking to him like he was there all the way, like like the Force, like when Luke talks to Obi-Wan. So there was so many similarities,
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that was really cool too. And that was another thing that I forgot to mention when we was talking about Doug Masters. I really liked how he was pretty much driven by his soundtrack, the little cassette tape that he was playing, because honestly, that reminds me of me a lot. Like, so I'm telling on myself a little bit with work, but at work, where us employees are, of course, required to wear masks, and I specifically like to wear neck gaiters, A, because they're breathable, but B, because I can pull them up right up here
And they
have
don't
my
see your ears.
covered. Yeah, so I have earbuds in, listening to my own music while doing my job.
See,
But
I used to do the same thing at my job. However, I don't wear a mask a lot of the times. There are certain jobs that I'll wear the mask for, and it would cover it up. But I would only wear one. That way I could have something to listen to in one ear, but I could still hear machinery and instructions through the other ear. And I did
Right.
that for about 2 months before the boss went, don't bring that anymore.
Well, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I have this all day, because
Yeah.
I work out actually from here, so yeah, I just have my earbuds.
the AirPod Pros, these are literally what I use, and I'm able to have both of them in because it has a speaker on the outside that's a microphone to the surrounding sound, so I'm still able to clearly hear as long as my music's not too loud
Nice.
what's going on around me. But anyways, back to the movie. One thing that I was not expecting, though, once I realized who exactly Louis Gossett Jr. was, I was not expecting that scene of him just rocking out to James Brown. But that was just like one of the little touches of this movie that just made it so
Yeah.
great.
It brought the two characters together because they were similar. He argued
Yes.
that Jason Gedrick had to listen to music to do his flying, yet he was doing the same thing, doing his planning.
Yeah,
Exactly. And yeah, just the fact that the fact that they were so similar ultimately
Just the
Just made
difference in
the-
music.
yeah, their chemistry was just so perfect in this movie, how one sort of played off the other, both in the more lighthearted and in the more serious scenes, like the one we talked about earlier, where Chappie's talking about the guys that he lost in Vietnam. And by the way, we have a very special guest with us. Welcome, Nick of Echo Base Network.
Oh,
How are you?
Hey, Nick.
Nick, wow.
What's going on,
Hey, Nick.
guys?
We're doing good. We're talking about Iron Eagle.
I heard you guys talking about mass. I figured I'd show mine off. I don't know if you can.
There you go.
Oh, one of the fake masks.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
But-
dad
but when
has
it's-
one.
But when it's on, you can't tell.
Nice. My dad's got one
But I can
very
still
similar
blink
to
through it.
that. I need to get a couple
wow.
of those.
Well, see, the
I
reason
won't-
that I wear a mask is when I do certain things to tires, you get a lot of that carbon black dust.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, when I was doing my fence in the backyard and spraying it with stuff, I had an actual mask on. But yeah, I was on the plane going out to. I used this thing the whole way out to Vegas, and nobody said a word to me.
Yeah.
I've
By the
seen them
way-
advertised.
Yeah.
Hey, there's
Hello.
coffee on Korriban.
Yeah.
What's up, man? And
What's going on?
I missed this earlier, but Coach will not be joining us because this is why.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's almost past his bedtime. 9:30. He
So
gets
it's
up.
getting
He gets
late,
up
yeah.
early. Because I think he gets up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
to
I get up
start
at
getting
3.
ready.
Yeah, my dad's a teacher, and he gets up pretty early for that too.
Mhm.
But anyways, Nick, getting back to what we was talking about, Iron
Yeah.
Eagle, just sort of getting caught up. What's your general thoughts on this movie?
I absolutely love this movie. It is one of it's probably in my top 10 of all time favorite movies ever. I've been putting it on the watch list thing for like 4 or 5 months now, and like it's never gets the votes. And I'm like, oh my god, people need to watch this movie. It's awesome. And
I always have voted for that one.
yeah.
Every time.
So when we were kind of ending the stream a little early Saturday, I was like, I'm still wide awake. I was like, maybe I'll just do a watch party tomorrow, and I can just get this one out of the way, and on a special watch party event instead of the monthly one we do. But I was still wide awake, so I was like, well, everybody's here. Let's just go ahead and watch it tonight. And I knew you hadn't seen it, Paul.
And
And,
actually, if I remember correctly, that's the largest turnout you've had for a watch party.
Oh, by far, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with because we did it right after our Saturday night stream when everybody was already there.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
By the way, guys,
So-
we got another VIP in the chat right now, and this guy fights for the users. Hello.
Hey, there's
Tron.
Tron.
Tron,
Hello.
how you doing?
But yeah, like I said, this is one of my all-time favorites. As a kid, like I'm a big, huge, military fan of military equipment, jets, plane. I love fighter jet, any movies with fighter jets and military stuff in it. And this was one of my favorite growing up. And it never gets old to me. That whole end scene, like once they hit the coastline,
Oh, the missing man
Doug and-
formation.
Mm-hmm.
No. When Doug and Chappie hit the
Oh,
coastline.
we're going
before they
in.
get-
Okay.
Yeah, when they're going in.
Yes.
Like from that point all the way up till, Doug and his dad are getting ready to be jumped by 4 more planes, and they realize that they're other American F-16s. Like that whole part of the movie is just like nonstop action, and it's some of the best military fighter jet cinematography out of any movie out there.
Yeah.
To date, for sure, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go, Brandon.
Well, hey, since Brandon showed his, I'll show mine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, by the way,
awesome. Love it.
I wore this today to my local theme park at King's Dominion and had a couple people asking what it was about. So you guys got some free promotion today at King's Dominion.
Awesome. We and that's the good thing about merch, and that's another thing that me and Coach love about people that buy our merch is because you guys are advertising for us too, and for you guys to spend your hard-earned money to help promote us. I mean, we're just eternally grateful, and it's super cool of you guys to do, and we really appreciate
Well,
it.
since everybody's showing theirs off, I'm wearing one of the older ones.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. I remember when Coach made all those ones. But
It was nice.
Even all those, I think, have our Echo Base Network on the logo on the back.
Yep.
Don't they?
Yeah. All of them. Yeah. I think.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
So
there it
does
is.
this one.
Yeah. Yeah. The meetup in April is going to be super fun. I can't wait.
It is. But anyways, again, back to the movie. Number one, thank you, Nick, for playing that movie Saturday, because that was amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you, Black Dragon, for pulling me into that Discord, because at the time that you messaged me, I was watching more Star Trek The Original Series, getting ready for Tuesday Night Treks. But then you messaged me, I was like, you know what? I could watch it tomorrow going down the road to King's Dominion. I'll pop in, and boy, am I glad that I did. Now,
Yeah.
Nick, we talked a little bit
Yeah,
about
matter
the
of fact,
characters.
Nick and I were talking about it that you weren't there yet. And I told him I'd send you a message, and he purposely waited to start the movie till you got there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm waiting until Paul gets here before I start this thing because
I
I want to see what he thinks about this movie.
Well,
Being a young buck, not growing up during those days.
During the cool days, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Speaking of Nick, did you by chance happen to see the helmet come on and the head explode on Saturday or on
I'm
Sunday?
s- I'm still reeling from
I
that.
did not.
He was on with Doomcock, and he brought the list up, and
Oh,
it
so yeah, I
okay.
did see part of that stream, but I didn't see all of it. I didn't see that part of it.
Watch it; it's hilarious,
It's
and the stuff with Cameron's also great. But yes, Master Paul, he handled himself very well in front of DC and the usual suspects on the panel. So
Yeah, Coach. I think Coach saw that part because I talked to him later, and he said that Paul gave us a really nice shout out on there,
oh yeah,
which was
yeah.
awesome. So
That
appreciate
yeah,
that.
whole stream was really really fun, and yeah, I'm still almost pinching myself. Like, did this just really happen?
Yeah,
Like, I'll admit I do get somewhat starstruck, and I'll admit I'm still starstruck from being on stream with Doomcock. But again, hey, thanks to him, we have surpassed 200 subscribers. So
nice.
absolute. So yeah, again,
Well,
thank you, Doomcock.
you earned a spot on there for making that song for him for sure. So
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you
Everything,
earned your spot on there.
yeah. You just keep doing what you're doing because what you're doing is it's definitely unique amongst everybody. So, but uh, but yeah, going on everything. It was a lot of fun. I laughed myself almost silly from that yesterday.
I did
I
too.
couldn't stop. So
Yeah. All right, so getting back to Iron Eagle, though, Nick, we was talking about the characters a little bit before you popped on,
Hmm.
and we talked about the main character, Doug, and we talked
Hmm.
about the villain, and we talked about Chappie. So just sort of your thoughts on all three of those characters and the actors that played them.
I thought Jason Gedrick's role as Doug Masters. I thought he did a fantastic job. I thought his acting was great throughout the whole movie, except for one scene that was a little bit cringe acting for me, and a lot of people might not pick up on it, but it's the part when Chappie comes in and Doug's sitting on the couch, and Chappie's like, "I thought I told you to get to bed," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really
oh
need much sleep for this, blah blah blah." And then Chappie pulls the book out, and then Doug has the conversation with him, and he's like, um, who's ever ready for it? But maybe I'm not. And but those guys, they knew it too, And that whole scene right there was a little cringy for me, a little bit on the acting. But outside of that, I thought he did a phenomenal job playing that character. After seeing him and growing up with that, I can't imagine that being played by anybody else. And I thought he was such a good actor. Um, that I was really surprised he wasn't in more movies after that, because I really didn't see him in a whole lot more growing up outside of that movie. I know he's been in a ton of other stuff. It's just not stuff I'm familiar with personally. And then Chappie, I mean, Louis Gossett Jr. is a phenomenal actor. I mean, they
Yes, he
nailed it.
is.
After he did that, his role in Officer and a Gentleman as the drill sergeant. Um, I mean, he was just a perfect pick for that role,
Yes, he
for
was.
sure. And then the villain, the bad guy, again, he did great in that role. It was all believable. Uh, you know, he uses some funny language a lot. Like these pigs, and stuff like that. But it's just the type of movie it was and the time that it was made. So I'm not going
Yes.
to fault it for that. But all the characters in there, I thought were really great. The movie overall is just awesome. I love it. Robert Meyer Burnett. I get onto him all the time because he tries to crap on it, and I'm like, man, what are you talking about? That movie's awesome. The thing is, and I understand Robert Meyer Burnett's point, because his point of what took him out of the movie, which I completely understand, and it's 100% noticeable, is when it's showing the jets, like at one point in time, they'll have all their bombs and missiles and stuff, and then the next shot, they won't have any weapons on them at all. They'll be completely clean. There's another YouTuber out there called I can't remember what his name is, but he's actually a F-18 and F-16 fighter pilot who has a YouTube channel. And he
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
LW or I don't know. He's got short hair. You guys probably know who I'm talking about, but he did a review of this movie, and he actually gave the movie some really good props outside of the stuff Robert Meyer Burnett points out, where it shows the plane clean 1 minute and then with weapons in the next minute.
The inconsistent editing to maintain the continuity. Yeah, that's. But then again, that's a problem with most '80s movies in general when it goes to fighter planes, and it probably had to do with when they could shoot it, how much armament they could actually show off without giving away state secrets, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and I mean, and the thing is also, I think those planes could have been loaded down a little bit more, because each one of them only had 2 Mavericks on a tripod, where they could have had a third. There was only 3 bombs on another wing when they could have held 6. So just small stuff like that. It's nitpicky small stuff,
Right.
but it doesn't take away from the greatness of the movie for me at all.
Yeah, like when that's the lengths that you have to go to find something wrong with this movie, the movie's great. When you've really got to nitpick it.
And the Hades bomb is not an actual real bomb. It's completely made up for the movie.
It's basically the real world equivalent, you could say, of Death Blossom.
Yeah, exactly.
Also in the radar, if you get peeky, in the radar, if you notice, they're pointing out to a MiG, but that was not actually a MiG, where they were flying, the enemy. So it's really, if you, it's very, very fast, but, if you don't pay attention to that,
In a weird way, the shape of the planes that the enemies were flying, I know you said they're not MiGs, but in a weird way, they kind of reminded me of what Starscream's G1 transformation was pre-arriving on Earth. Like that really triangular, almost pyramid thing on its side is kind of what it reminded me of.
If I remember correctly, those aircrafts are French-made. Typically,
they're Kaffirs. F-21 Kaffirs is what they are. They're not. There's not a Middle Eastern country that uses those, but it's very similar to Top Gun. They used T-38 Talons, which are trainer jets for the Air Force for their Russian it wasn't Russian, but for the enemy planes in that movie.
Yeah, the F-5s. F-5s.
Right.
Yeah, they couldn't get a hold of real MiGs to save their lives, let alone even try to ask, hey, Gorbachev, could you lend us a few of your MiG-29? Yeah, sure. No.
That was never going to happen.
No. And if you watch Iron Eagle 2, the ships that the aircraft that they say are Russian MiGs, they're not. Not even close. They're just old planes that if I remember correctly, they had retired them by the mid '80s, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And another thing about the movie is the other YouTuber who's a F-16 fighter pilot, all the HUD display footage and stuff was all actual real HUD display stuff. Everything was proper on there. He said this is all accurate and it's all legit. So they took a lot of time and put a lot of effort into the making of this movie, which was what made it awesome, and the sad part about it is the sequels did not ever live up to the original one. None of the sequels are worth watching.
I was about to ask.
In my opinion,
I'm going to disagree with that to a bit. 2 was not bad.
Two was the best out of all the sequels.
Yeah,
Right.
But not to give any spoilers away, the very beginning of the second one really pissed me off growing up when it came out. Because I remember when it came out in theaters, I heard about what happens in the beginning, and I was like, "No, that can't be true." And I watched it, and I was like, "What? What is happening right now?"
Yeah, the second one. The second one definitely doesn't hold a candle to the first. Although I will say it definitely has a very nice feature to that's added to the casting.
Who's that?
I can't remember her name, but damn!
Oh
Holy
yeah.
The Russian MiG pilot?
Russian
Yes!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It made me want to learn how to speak Russian. Even
I believe it. So real quick, some of the comments that came in here. The legendary Tron says, "Excited for next year, so looking forward to it." Me too, man.
Yep.
Alan Copeland, I didn't say hello to you earlier, but welcome. And he says Iron Eagle rocks. Nerdporeal Lifeform showed up, and he also said, "I don't think I have ever seen Iron Eagle. See it; it's worth it."
Wow.
Sacrilege.
Yeah, great movie. It is one of the gems from the 80s that is not as popular as
It's underrated. Underrated.
You've got the
It's a
2.
hidden-
You've actually got 3. You've got Iron Eagle, you've got Top Gun, and you've got Firebirds.
Firebirds I've never heard of.
It's Nicholas
Those are the
Cage.
Apache helicopters with Nicolas Cage
that's
and
He's the greatest. He is the greatest.
Now I can't think of the instructor's
Tommy
name.
Lee Jones.
Yes,
Tommy
thank
Lee
you.
Jones. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones, yes.
I'll be
yes.
watching that one then.
Yeah, so Firebirds, I actually was going to go, after 9/11, I was actually going to go into the Army, but I wanted to be an Apache pilot, and they couldn't guarantee me that that's what I would actually be doing, so I just didn't do it at all. But
Makes sense.
I love the Apache helicopters is my favorite attack chopper of all time. And,
You'd love the story of why I went into the Navy.
Oh, really?
That was not originally what I was going to do.
Oh, really?
We went to visit my mother's brother, who was stationed as an SSP in Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri.
I lived on that Air Force base for a little while.
Well, he took me on base and showed me what his job was, and introduced me to the people he worked with. And I went, this actually sounds like an interesting. I was going to join the military. I come from a military background.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to join the military. I just didn't know what. And when he introduced me and showed me what he did, it's like, oh, this sounds interesting. So he gave me all the information I needed. And I walked into the Air Force recruiter's office. And, of course, Air Force recruiters being Air Force recruiters, well, you can do this and you can do that and you can do the other. And it's like, no, this is what I want to do. Here's everything that you need to fill out your paperwork. And he just immediately took a disliking to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he thought, he didn't see a kid who was focused and knew what he wanted. He saw me as, pardon my French, a smart-ass punk who was trying to tell him how to do his job.
Right.
So he literally blacklisted me. I could not sign up for the Air Force anywhere in the United States.
Oh,
wow.
That sucks.
Well, about a month later, I get home from work, and there's a car in my driveway, so I can't pull in. And so I park out front, and I walk in the front door, and here's 2 Marines in full dress. Now, this Air Force recruiter had taken me all the way up to signing the paperwork. I had my MEPS, I had my physical, everything was done. So I walk in my front door, here's 2 Marines in full dress uniform going, you this kid? Yes, sir, I am. Here, sign this. Wait a minute.
if
I
if
ended
any
up.
branch was gonna do it, I'd say the Marines.
Well, I mean, I didn't find out till many. I mean, almost a decade later. I didn't find out what my ASVAB score was, but evidently I only missed one question on the entire test.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, I wanted to see what my options were, so I went and talked to the Navy recruiter, and not knowing anything about the Navy, he's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" It's like, "I don't know. What do you have to offer?" And nothing was appealing to me. So he goes, "Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll put you in as a designated striker." I said, "Okay, what kind of job is that?" He's like, "It's not a job. What it is they signed me up for the Navy. I was in the Navy, period. After my boot camp, I would go, get stationed on board a ship, and I could work the different jobs and find out what I liked, and then that particular ship, that division, would send me to their school." I said, "Okay, that sounds fair." So I head off to boot camp. And one day the drill instructors come in and say, "Navy SEALs are testing. Does anybody want to go out for it?" I have no idea what a Navy SEAL is. "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." Turns out I made it, So, I mean, due to, somebody with very low self-esteem, I'm going to say, I got a fantastic job that I was very happy with and met some of the best people in the world.
Oh yeah. The very, very limited interaction that I had with SEALs, they were somehow the most chillest yet most professional people that I had ever met.
I talked to a couple other people that had some different opinions that said that they were kind of jerks and assholes.
Well, individually,
Well,
I didn't know
most
any
military
personally.
most military personnel, E5 is about the worst rank you're going to find in any military, because they're that in-between stage where they know enough but they think they know everything, and yes, a lot of your E5s are going to be jerks.
Yeah.
can confirm.
Yeah, my brother said that he's a mechanic in the Air Force for F-22s, and he's been stationed in a couple different bases. But he said the fighter pilots are kind of like high ego trip, like they're the top of the food chain, like you guys are just peons next to us, sort of type thing.
I've met my share of them too.
So anyways,
It's the downfall of people if you're not careful.
Yeah.
yes. Anyways, some more comments I want to get on. Pacific414 says, what you're doing here on your channel, Paul, is working 100%. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's see, I had some others. Cred Sox, welcome, by the way, says, I love the moving, but Jason's acting, lol. I didn't see anything wrong with his acting. Could he be talking about the scene that you were talking about, Black Dragon, that annoyed you? Where he...
It's possible. I mean, everybody's going to have a different opinion no matter who you talk to. And Cred Sox is a her.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
There are people, I mean, Nick may like a particular actor, and I won't. It's
It's
just
all
a difference
subjective
in
at the end
it's
of the
just
day.
a difference in style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
all
like some
subjective.
people like Omega and Nick doesn't.
Exactly.
I hate Omega.
fair enough. And also,
Good point.
Nerdporeal Lifeform says, I thought RMB likes almost anything except New Trek. I can't comment on this one because I don't know him.
Yes. For the most part, he does. There's a lot of stuff he likes, but he is not a huge Iron Eagle fan, and I was completely surprised because some of the other movies that he's a big fan of that I thought was trash. I'm just like, God, I don't know how you don't think Iron Eagle is awesome. Like, it's just awesome. It's just an awesome movie.
It is.
Well, we have a recent example of that with Mr. Sumi Liu and the supposed 10 rings of power and
Oh yeah,
the faux Fu Manchu, the faux Manchu.
yeah.
I
On whether or not it's a triumph or not.
genuinely could not care less about that movie. I checked out
Exactly.
after
I don't
Endgame.
care either. But
Yeah.
I did listen to Valiant Renegades.
Valiant Renegades is
Yeah.
His
watch
financial
the video.
take on it, and yeah, this is Strike Two. Black Widow was, for lack of a better term, crap.
Too late.
Yeah, it's too late. It barely break even, assuming a few other pieces fall in place. But that's their best case with that. And of course, with this, same deal. If you're tracking it, yeah, it's not on pace. I wouldn't be surprised if by next week we're going to have close to a 60-70% fall off, and then after that, another 60-70 fall off from that. So, yeah, it's hosed.
Yeah, Coach and I were talking about this earlier. Me and him grew up collecting comic books, and I don't even remember Shang-Chi.
That's
I don't even remember.
That's because it's older than the 80s. That's like a 60s, 70s thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Shang-Chi. I do like old wushu kung fu movies, and all that sort of stuff. So I was definitely going to check it out and kind of just judge it for myself. But it's getting a lot of mixed reviews out there. So.
Yeah.
But
And
Iron
real
Eagle's
quick,
great.
Another comment that just came in from Darth Mandalorian, hello by the way, says, Paul almost made Doomcock's head explode with his rating positions of the Matrix movies. Alright,
Yes.
so I gotta
That
explain
was,
this to you, Nick. So I have started a second list of movies that were on my never seen list, but I've seen them now and I've ranked them. So I'm going to share this with you.
Okay.
And it also works so we can add Iron Eagle to the list here. So from the top is the best. And the fact that I have the Matrix trilogy as the bottom three and Matrix sandwiched between Reloaded and Revolutions pretty much almost broke him.
Yeah.
About
the first
3 minutes
Matrix
worth of
movie.
it.
Yeah, the first Matrix movie was awesome. The second two, I did not think they were as much.
They were continual declining, just like how
Yes.
The Last Jedi and the rise of Soy Walker were. They made
Yeah.
less money each
Yeah.
time.
The Rise of
100%.
Storybook.
So, I wasn't
go ahead,
able
Paul.
to. I wasn't really able to address this last night because everyone was going crazy both in the chat and in the panel. But this is 100% serious. I do genuinely like Matrix Revolutions over the Matrix because I'm able to understand the story the best out of the trilogy with that movie, and I do genuinely like the Neo versus Smith fight in the rain more than their previous two fights. So that's why I like that movie better.
I say, wasn't it Tom that said you could take the two fights between Neo and Agent Smith from Reloaded and Revolutions and make that just the one movie and be good?
No,
I think it was him that said that.
I think that was Douglas Nelson.
No, it's right. It was Doug.
Yeah.
It was Douglas that said that.
So,
Yeah,
But,
I'm not surprised Terminator 2's at the top. It's almost a flawless, perfect
Yes.
movie from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Yeah.
so where you
Have
put
you-
Iron Eagle?
Iron
So
Eagle's going to go at number 3,
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice.
above Tron.
Nice. Have you seen the sequel to Tron?
Yes, a long time ago though, so I'm
Okay.
going to have to see it again, but I remember liking it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Do you still have your list of movies that you haven't seen?
Yes, I dare not get it out though. It's gotten even bigger.
Oh,
no.
has it?
Go ahead and pull it out. And while you're pulling
Man,
it
I,
out,
re- I
let me-
remember.
All right. I'll do
let
it.
me do this.
Well,
Is
you
it
created-
500 pages?
It's pretty long, but I have a confession that I have to make. I have not seen Forbidden Planet. Now, having
Which-
said that, I am going to rent it from Amazon. They have a little button that you can click for a watch party, so I'm going to try and arrange it for this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so 6 and then 5 for me, to watch it. It's not very long, and
Man,
it's in high def, so it should be pretty good.
you have not seen anything Jean-Claude Van Damme, man. you need to see Bloodsport. You need to see, like the
Kickboxer.
Kickboxer.
Okay.
Universal
If you
Soldier.
if you can recommend to me one Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which one would it be?
Bloodsport.
Okay.
Bloodsport.
I'll actually put it this way. I got the recommendation from Coach to listen to the Bloodsport soundtrack to run.
Yep.
I got the best time ever today because of that.
All right.
Okay.
That movie is so good. The music, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, I know you guys had recommended a couple movies to me earlier in this stream. What were those again?
One was Firebirds.
Yep.
You had Top Gun, right?
If I don't, yep, right here.
God,
And of course, you got Hot Shots.
Rambo. He has not seen Rambo. He has
None
not
of
seen
the Rambos?
No, nothing.
Oh my god.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the last
and
time we did this, it was. I remember the stream. That was the birth of Broomcock. That stream.
And if you can,
Okay.
if you can believe this, Felix, the reaction that I got from Doomcock when I showed him this list was somehow even more explosive than you and Coach and Trot reacting to this. If you have not seen this video, go watch it.
Oh wow.
One
Wow.
suggestion, Paul. Under your Dune old movie, they did a couple of mini-series on the Sci-Fi Channel. If you're looking at the movie, put, like you did Clash of the Titans 81, do Dune 84.
And actually, I have the Spice Diver edit of the movie. It's only 480, but that by far is the way to see that movie. By far.
Did they not ever release that version on Blu-ray anywhere?
They did, but they've got the director's cut, and the director's cut is good, but the Spice Diver edit is a fan edit that rearranges a few things and includes the empresses or the princesses opening dialogue and mixes it throughout to help give that explanation that's so badly needed.
Okay, all right. So wow, none of the Rambo movies and none of the Rocky movies either, right?
No.
None of the Rocky sequels. I've seen the first one.
Okay, well,
All
you
right.
gotta see the third one. Why? Because of pain. Because I'm Clubber Lane.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like the third one. The fourth one's my favorite, and so
Yeah,
is
mine
the
too.
soundtrack.
Number 4 is.
Yeah, I
for
like
me.
number... Dolph Lundgren's introduction.
Got it.
God, we just watched Aliens last week, Paul.
I know, and I purposefully skipped it so that I could see Alien before seeing Aliens.
Oh, because you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah.
You got
I
Hot
have-
Shots
I-
on there twice. You need to put
I do?
part due.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Hot Shots and there's Hot Shots part due, DUX or DEUX.
All right. I'll do this then.
Spendables, man. Oh, man, you need to see Spendables.
Well, let's go back up to the top of the list real quick. Let's take a
Okay.
peek.
By the way, these
Yep.
these 5 here were added last night from the Doomcock stream.
Okay,
Okay.
I have the special edition DVD release of Lawrence of Arabia. It's very easy to make a file that I'll be more than happy to send to you. That's a pristine version, at least for a DVD. I don't have the Blu-rays or the 4K ones.
Let's do it.
Magnificent Seven. Oh, it's so good. Seven
Yeah.
Samurai, good one.
I love
have to
Under
confess-
Siege.
Oh, shoot.
Under Siege is one of my favorite Seagal movies.
By the way,
It's
hello
about
to
his only
Daryl.
movie that's worth a damn.
Yeah.
So
I
I
have
can't
to
lie.
confess, I haven't
can't-
seen Casablanca, so you and I will have to do a watch party for that one too.
Definitely.
Best of the best, man. You have it there. You need to see Best
Yep,
of the
right
Best,
there.
man.
Yeah.
All right, Cred Stocks is recommending the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, I'll add it.
Hang 'em high.
Yeah, those are two Clint Eastwood movies.
Yep. Two,
Clint Eastwood westerns.
Yeah, pretty much anything Eastwood, anything from John Wayne, anything from Henry Fonda.
I have seen True Grit. I've seen the John
Which
Wayne True
one?
Grit. The original.
Which one? The original?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
say
saw-
I was actually up in Colorado where they shot that movie
Yeah,
here a few months ago.
nice.
And the final shootout place, I have pictures of the place, and they actually do have it carved into a tree, stating that this is the field where the final shootout between John Wayne's character Rooster and Rooster Cogburn and Ned happened. So
Gotcha.
I've got the photos.
Real quick, I know the chat's blowing up with suggestions. I'm shutting down all the suggestions until
it
I
gets
get this.
through some of these.
Yes,
Yeah.
I gotta make some headway on this stream before I add more movies. So I appreciate the suggestions, but hold them for now, please.
Tombstone, gotta have Tombstone.
Seen it.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
that's
that
good.
was the one that Coffee on Korriban, Timothy had not seen, that I suggested he definitely watch, just because of Doc Holliday with the mustache.
Yeah.
Well, guys, anything final? Getting back to Iron Eagle, anything final you want to say about this before we shut this down?
I will say real quick, anybody in the chat who has not ever seen Iron Eagle, go watch it tonight. Go find it on
Yes.
stream and go watch it tonight, and come back and comment on Paul's video here and leave your thoughts on what you thought about the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. John, any final thoughts from you?
I just got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
You spent time in the Navy,
Yes.
and you haven't seen a majority of these movies? I mean, that's all we did during our downtime was watch movies.
All I did during my downtime, even still pretty much today, minus putting YouTube content out, is play video games and watch YouTube.
Gotcha. And have you ever seen an aircraft carrier do a dump?
I have not. Pretty much all my Navy time was landside.
I'll tell you what, it is impressive to watch them launch every single jet they have on board in under 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see.
I
if
didn't
can
even know
find-
that was possible.
Yep.
I'm gonna.
I
look
didn't
up a
either
clip
till I
of
saw it
this.
done.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Wow.
I'm gonna look up a clip of this for sure. By the way, hello to Cobra Disney Jedi. Thank you for popping in here. So, Felix, any final thoughts on Iron Eagle from you?
Yeah, for me, it's one of the best '80s movies for me. So
Yeah.
it's great. I love the music. You know, Queen and the soundtrack. You know, it's perfect.
Yeah. Dio, he's
yeah.
he's in there.
It reminds me, for some reason, that movie reminds me also about Karate Kid. You know, it's just something
Oh,
about
yeah.
it. You know, it's just '80s too.
Yeah,
I think
You
I
have
know
seen
why.
those, right, Paul? Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3.
I've seen the first 2 and bits of pieces of 3.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's been forever, so I'll probably rewatch them. But anyways, Brandon, final thoughts from you?
Well, Felix, from what I remember, Cheap Trick did part of the soundtrack for quite a few of the movies from the 80s. If I remember correctly, they did a song for Top Gun. They also did a song for Iron Eagle, if I remember correctly. And that's why you're thinking it's quintessential 80s. And yes, everything about these 80s movies,
Yeah.
the soundtracks, the music from the era, not the composition score, but the actual music
Man.
from bands at the time is just
If you look
It's
at
timeless.
my music collection, it's generally greatest hits, which is going to be the best of their music anyway,
yep.
and soundtracks. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. My 2 favorite music albums of all time is Alice in Chains' Unplugged album and Dave Matthews' Tim Reynolds Live at Luther College. If
Yeah.
Nice.
Choices.
If you are an acoustic music fan, those 2 albums is what got me playing music.
Okay.
Well, I'm an
So-
old metalhead, so I gotta
I
gotta
love
have
metal
it.
stuff.
I gotta have it cranked up and fuzzed out, and bass thumping and drums bashing and,
I like
and
all
all
that
sorts
stuff
of
too.
screaming.
Yeah, and I got a foot in both of those camps, so it sort of just depends on my mood that day. But anyways, my thoughts on this movie. Again, thank you, Nick, for showing this on Discord. I'm definitely glad that I came on and watched it. Again, I've said this so many times. I don't know why it took me so long to watch this movie because it was absolutely incredible. It was super fun. All the characters were great. Like these were like characters that honestly should be more talked about than they are. Like we talk about Karate Kid as like one of the best 80s movies out there. This is equally as good as Karate Kid, and yet it isn't talked about as much, and that is a shame.
It's
Yeah,
the
That's because it
underdog.
got pooped
It's
on.
the underdog of the 80s. This movie,
Yeah.
I love the fact that Cobra Kai had Iron Eagle stuff and mentions in it.
Yes.
Oh,
in
it
the
did?
first yeah, if you
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Wow.
if you
Johnny
go back
Lawrence
and watch
loved
the
it.
yeah, Johnny Lawrence in Cobra Kai is a huge Iron Eagle fan. So
Wow.
the fact that that movie got some recognition in that show is freaking awesome. But again, did you watch this movie a second time, Paul?
I did not.
Okay. I know you said that you were gonna try to watch it again to kind of take it all in again, but I didn't know if you had gotten a chance to or not.
Yeah, I still might, but it wasn't anything like as bad as the last time we did something on Zoom together where it was The Last Starfighter, and
Oh, yeah, and it was real
I only saw
glitchy.
I had to see that a second time just because it was that bad, but this I could deal with it.
Okay.
But anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for us on this stream. So thank you, everyone, especially Nick, such short notice coming on here. And thank you
Nick.
guys in the chat for watching this. So tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, don't forget to tune in for Tuesday Night Trek, where we will be closing out Season 2 of the original series. And then Wednesday, Pacific 414, if you're still in here, can you really quick just make sure I'm right on this? Wednesday at 8 p.m. on your channel, we are talking about the 55th anniversary of Star Trek. And myself and my Tuesday Night Trek brethren have been invited to that, so tune into that if you want. And then, of course, Thursday, as Brandon mentioned, we're going to be doing that watch party for Doom. Sorry, not Dune, Forbidden Planet. And then, of course, Sunday, our normal stream. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff, and yes, I was right. So it is Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Brandon, Nerdporeal Lifeform, and Spock will be on Pacific 414's channel talking about Star Trek for the 55th anniversary. Don't miss that. And just remember, guys, I'll say it because Nick is here. We are UR Echo Base Network, and the Force is family. See you guys
Absolutely.
later.
See you guys.